Sophia was a young woman full of dreams. She believed in love, in romance, and in the idea of a perfect family. When she met Daniel, she thought she had found everything she was looking for. He was handsome, smart, and had a successful career in business. He loved her, and she loved him. After 2 years of dating, they got married in a beautiful ceremony. At first, their life together was wonderful. They traveled, laughed, and spent long nights talking about their future. Soon they had a baby, a little boy named Lucas. Sophia was happy, but something started to change. Daniel was always busy with work. He stayed late at the office, traveled often, and even when he was home, he was tired. He stopped noticing her, stopped asking how she felt. Sophia tried to talk to him, but he always had the same answer: "I'm doing this for us, for our future." She felt lonely, invisible. She loved her son more than anything, but inside, she was unhappy. One day, while picking up Lucas from school, she met Alex, another parent. He was kind, funny, and always had time to talk. Slowly, their conversations became longer. They met more often, sometimes by accident, sometimes on purpose. Sophia felt alive again. She felt seen. She knew it was wrong, but she couldn't stop herself. One evening, when Daniel was away on a business trip, Alex invited her to his place. Her heart was beating fast as she walked into his arms. That night changed everything. At first, she was full of guilt. She looked at her son and felt like a terrible mother. But every time she was with Alex, she felt happy. For the first time in years, she felt loved. Their affair continued for months. No one suspected anything. Daniel was too busy and she was careful. Then, one day, Alex asked her to leave with him. "Let's start a new life together," he said. Sophia hesitated. Could she do it? Could she leave her husband and son? She imagined a future where she was happy, loved, and free. The idea was tempting. She planned everything carefully. One evening, she packed a small bag and kissed Lucas goodnight, thinking it might be the last time. She waited for Daniel to fall asleep, then left quietly. Alex was waiting for her in his car, but as they drove away, something inside her changed. She thought about Lucas, about the life she had built. She imagined him growing up without her. Tears filled her eyes. "Stop the car," she said suddenly. Alex looked at her in shock. "What?" "I can't do this," she whispered. "I have to go back." He tried to change her mind, but her decision was made. She ran back home, climbed into bed next to her husband, and stared at the ceiling. No one ever found out. She stayed with Daniel, pretending everything was normal. But deep inside, she knew she had given up her chance at true happiness. Years passed, but the memory of that night never left Sophia. She often lay awake, thinking about the life she almost had, the love she almost chose. But she had made her decision. She stayed for Lucas, for the family she had built, for the life that felt safe, even if it wasn't happy. Daniel's career continued to grow, and he spent even less time at home. He was a good provider, but not a good husband. He rarely asked how she felt or what she needed. Sophia stopped trying to talk to him. She accepted that this was her life. Lucas grew up into a bright, kind young man. He adored his mother and respected his father. Sophia found joy in watching him succeed in school, in his sports, in his friendships. She told herself that her sacrifice had been worth it, but inside she carried a secret sadness. She never saw Alex again. After that night, she cut all contact with him. It was too painful. Sometimes she wondered if he had moved on, if he had found someone else, if he ever thought about her. But she never allowed herself to look for him. It was too dangerous. As the years passed, Sophia learned to hide her emotions. She smiled at family dinners, she laughed at Daniel's business events, she played the role of the perfect wife. No one ever suspected that her heart was not in it. Even Daniel, who once claimed to love her, never noticed how distant she had become. One day, when Lucas was in his 20s and studying at university, Sophia found herself alone more than ever. Daniel was traveling often, and the house was quiet. She started taking long walks, visiting old bookstores, sitting in cafes, watching the world pass by. She wondered if this was all there was to life. Then, one afternoon, while walking in the park, she saw him. Alex. Her heart stopped. He looked older, but his smile was the same. He saw her too, and for a moment, neither of them moved. Then, slowly, he walked towards her. "Sophia," he said, his voice soft but full of emotion. "Alex," she whispered. They stood there, looking at each other, the past rushing back like a wave. "How have you been?" he asked. She smiled, but it was a sad smile. "I've been Fine. He nodded, understanding the hidden meaning in her words. I've thought about you, he admitted. She swallowed hard. I've thought about you too. They sat on a bench and talked for hours. He had never married. He had waited for her, hoping she would change her mind. But when she didn't, he moved on, or at least tried to. Sophia felt a pain in her chest. What if? What if she had been braver? What if she had chosen differently? But it was too late now. As the sun set, she stood up. I should go, she said softly. Alex nodded. Take care, Sophia. She walked away without looking back. That night, she lay in bed next to Daniel, staring at the ceiling. Just like she had all those years ago, she had made her choice, and she would live with it for the rest of her life.